exempt them because they're a champion. Like,
well, they're a contender just as much as the next team that's a contender.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's tough to say because, like, I heard the only reason why they're being exempt from it is because the NHL was dividing money from their expansion fees to every team in the league.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. Just rumors.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, rumors help make this show sometimes a bit, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. I know one thing we talked about last week that was confirmed was in the GM meetings. We talked about the War Room getting final say, and I believe it was today that they confirmed that the War Room's going to get final say on goaltender interference, which I think is probably a good thing for sure.
And then I think they have like a retired ref kind of seeing things too over in the War Room.
That's good. Have a guy who, who's been on the other side of the fence for sure would be a good acquisition. And Brian Boyle, basically a shoo-in for the Masterton Trophy.
Well, I heard Stamkos is there too.
But
I read today.
I mean, I know they announced him, but I mean, how can you not go against Boyle for the Masterton Trophy? I mean, comes back after cancer and All-Star game. I mean, Stamkos makes sense too, of course.
Well, yeah, you come back after a broken leg like that, and now you're sixth in scoring. I mean, and that's no knock on Brian Boyle, no means, but I mean, it's a little bit more of a feel-good story for Boyle. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
Just thought I'd share that information with some of the fans here, and it's kind of a neat little tidbit for him.
Actually, and he's played really good in New Jersey.
Yeah,
I think he's double digits for goals for sure.
Yeah.
He made the All-Star team.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, like...
And, something that we shared on the Facebook page and, got you guys' feedback on was, the effectiveness of captains and the meaning of captains in the NHL today. And, do you think that they're as meaningful as they once were? Do you think that they're as,
Or is it just a letter?
Or, yeah, exactly. How important is the C and the A for the jerseys? I'd like to get your guys' take on it before I get to some of the fans' reactions to it. Do you guys think it's as important as it was?
I mean, like I pointed out to you before, it's the only sport to me that glorifies
the
captains.
Yeah.
Like basketball, there's nothing on their jerseys, I believe. Baseball, there definitely isn't, and football, there's not. Like, I don't think there's any captain in football. So we're the only sport that glorifies who the leaders are. Where it seems in the other sports they just know who the leaders are.
Usually, leaders a quarterback.
Toronto's a prime example. We don't have any captains. We have assistants, but we don't have a captain, I should say. But everyone knows Matthews is going to be the next captain.
Yeah.
But I mean, right now it's guys like Marlowe and even Polak's. I'm just thinking veteran-wise.
Guys like Bozak.
Bozak's been there a while. And,
Leo.
Veterans. But I mean, I think that's truly why they brought Marlowe in, is for the veteran presence. I mean, so I don't know. Does it come down to just who's the leader? It doesn't matter what letter but I mean, you pointed out to me, Kyle, that the refs come to the bench now, where it seemed like more back then the refs talk to the player, the captain, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now the ref goes straight to the bench more often than not. I mean, they still talk to the player a little bit, and you see that still, but where back then it was like they addressed the captain, and the captain, went and talked to the coach, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Ken Widmeyer had said, that basically what you had touched on, that the ref would talk to the player and the player would talk to the coach. It kind of appears that the team leader is kind of the go-between between certain players and management. But, I mean, some instances, in this guy's opinion, coaches want to interact with all the players individually, you know what I mean? Like, guy like, say, for example, Babcock's going to want to talk to everyone individually instead of using the captain. And, I mean...
But the only thing we don't know for sure, what goes on in the dressing room between intermissions, after games, maybe Crosby, McDavid, those kind of guys. Maybe they step up and say, intermission, they're losing. Okay, boys, like rally the guys. That's their job. They're
Maybe.
captain. Maybe not. Maybe they just, McDavid doesn't say anything, and then he goes and gets a few points. He just shows it on the ice. To me, he seems like that kind of leader. But I mean,
yeah, he doesn't strike me as a type to
call everybody out. Yeah,
but that's the kind of captain that Joe Sakic was.
Yeah, quiet.
He was quiet. He showed it. He did his job on the ice.
But led by example.
Yeah. And he really didn't interact with the team. If I remember right, he didn't really take part in the practices as intensely as the other guys did. He kind of showed it on the ice. And I mean, he probably talked to the guys on the ice, but it wasn't...
for sure, he talked. But I mean, he wasn't...
Yeah.
Where I believe a guy more like Messier was more of a guy that would talk and, basically call you out if you're playing like crap.
Well, and I remember a story, and you probably know what I'm talking about, where a young player threw his jersey on the locker room floor, and Mark Messier basically grabbed that guy and slammed him against the locker, and basically was like, "You don't throw that on the ground. That's us. That's our crest. That means something, right?" And
that's why he's debated as one of the greatest leaders of
our
game, right?
That's why there's an award.
Yeah, Mark Messier Leadership Award. So, I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's probably way more stories and other stuff like that about guys like him, but that's just one, right? But
yeah, exactly. And that again, that's what this Christian Jobert, he had said that, it's not just an on-ice symbol, represents leadership, on the ice, off the ice, in the gym, locker room, community.
And that's what I was saying about the locker room. Maybe they don't do as much on the ice, but they do more in the locker room.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like you kind of associate a captain with your best player.
You do.
Skill wise.
Yeah.
Because I know back in
yeah, I'd agree with you.
The Whalers back in I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, it's like you have guys like Ethan Morrow who are the captain. So not the best points wise, but
you don't know what he does off the ice, right?
But that's Jonathan Taves right there. Patrick Kane is the point producer, but Jonathan Taves is the leader.
But Jonathan Taves is
he's solid production.
But they call him Captain Clutch for a reason, right? Like, he always seems... In the season, he had decent points. 60, 70-point guy, right?
Yeah.
But it seemed like in the playoffs, if Kane wasn't scoring the goal, to win it, Taves was.
Yeah.
They both knew,
Even then, Taves, he seems kind of like a quiet guy.
Yes, quiet, but... Well, they call him Captain Serious, too, actually.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's...
Yeah.
Like Scott, you made actually a great point when you said nowadays it seems like skill you get to see almost to me. Like, let's be honest, Oiler fans knew Connor McDavid was going to have the C when they drafted him, guaranteed, right? We all knew that.
I had even joked that the C would be on his jersey when they drafted him.
Picked, the C was already on the
first overall pick, Connor McDavid, and it's got the C on.
Do you think they're just kind of giving away C's crazy? You have a guy who's been playing maybe a year or two, and then you just give him the C. It wasn't Gabe Landeskog. How long was he playing before they gave him the C?
Well, he was
pretty young, but
until McDavid came, he was the youngest.
He was, but they had said that he showed that he was worthy of it.
But let's be honest, he's not the most skilled in the team.
No,
McKinnon is. So if you're going by, I mean, you just brought up another good point. Do you not earn your C's like they used to either? You're just giving them away. There's no earning. Where I'm not being biased, but in Toronto, it does seem like they're making Matthews at least work for it a few years first. Because he might not get it this year again. After
the next season. Yeah.
I think he will, but you never know with Babcock. He seems so content with not having a C for some reason. But
even again, someone else on the page mentioned that Leafs didn't have a captain before Phaneuf, and they were fine. And then Dion was traded, and they didn't replace the captain, and they haven't had one since, and it hasn't affected their team any.
But I believe there's two teams I can think of. Andy Green is captain of the Devils.
Yep.
He's not their most skilled, not even close. And Derek McKenzie, I believe, is still captain of
Florida.
the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, I believe so.
And
yeah.
and Derek McKenzie's like a third, fourth line guy.
That's just so strange.
Doesn't it seem strange
Yeah.
to you? But I mean, that's where those guys are veterans, though. They've been around the league a while.
Yeah. But do you remember early 2000s? The Tampa Bay Lightning gave Vincent Lecavalier the captaincy, and he struggled. He had a terrible time, and then they took the C off and gave it to Dave Andreychuk, and they won the Stanley
And
Cup.
then he retired.
And when Andreychuk retired, they gave it back to Lecavalier because it seemed like he was ready for it.
Yeah, and he wasn't ready the first time kind of thing, and then... So, I mean... But, going back to Andy Green and McKenzie, well, who gets it after Green? Taylor Hall?
Probably Taylor Hall.
Bro, yeah.
I think Taylor Hall gets it. Who gets it for Florida? I mean, I could see a guy like Ekblad get
Or
it.
Bukestad. Or, yeah, Ekblad, probably.
Ekblad seems the guy, maybe, that they want to build around.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
they do have other guys, too. Or
Yeah.
Huberdeau could be another
Huberdeau,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yandel, even.
Like, if they're going veteran, it could be Yandel again, but it just seems weird. Like, those are the only two teams I can think of that aren't one of the most skilled. Is not the captain. I'm pretty sure I'm right there. Yeah, every other team.
But oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go.
Kind of more on the meaningfulness of the letter. Do you think it's less meaningful because players aren't having as lengthy of careers on certain teams? Like,
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, player stays aren't as long on teams.
Or Tampa Bay has traded their last two captains.
Yeah.
Ryan Callahan. Sorry. The Rangers have traded both their last two captains. Ryan Callahan to Tampa, Ryan McDonough to Tampa.
Tampa's acquiring.
So when your
captains.
captains can get traded, seems like nothing.
Yeah, like
It kind of goes
yeah.
from okay. I mean, that's just
But even look as far as this trade deadline. Erik Karlsson was on the trade block.
he's captain.
Senators captain. Max Pacioretty on the trade block.
Montreal's captain.
Montreal's captain.
Ryan McDonough.
Ryan McDonough.
Yeah.
So it just I don't know. We're back in the day, like when I was a kid. Steve Eisenman was captain. He wasn't going nowhere. Mary Lemieux was captain. He wasn't going nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Like
Sundin wasn't. Yeah, Sundin,
no, he wasn't
Sakic.
going anywhere. Sakic, yeah. The captains were legit the guys that stayed there forever.
Yeah.
It seemed. And there is guys like that, the Crosby, Ovechkin, McDavid,
Yeah.
probably Matthews. Those guys probably won't go anywhere, but those guys are generational players, that kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
Where, I don't know, it just seems like it doesn't matter if you got the C on you, you could be out the door kind of thing. Right?
Well, that's just it. The captain himself isn't as meaningful. But kind of let me throw a question your guys' way. Do you think the guy makes the C, or does the C make the guy? Do you think?
I think the guy makes the C. If that guy, because some guys are natural born leaders, naturally, right? Like they're just, and some guys are, I don't know, they have it, but they're
We just kind of there's different ways of showing leadership.
yeah.
Exactly.
We went through some examples already, but
Lead by example, say by example. I don't know.
Yep.
and some lead and say,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, there's leaders that are doers, and then there's leaders who can get other people to do. Right? There's motivators and there's doers, which I think both are pretty effective ways of leading for sure.
like, what do you guys think? This was last year, or the year before already. Joe Thornton, his C, they took it off him, gave it to Joe Pavelski.
Yep.
And it actually seemed like Tampa almost got better. Well, they went to Cup Finals with
San Jose, you
Pavelski.
mean?
Or, sorry, San Jose. So it's like,
Yeah, that's true. And even
which you don't see that too much anymore, where the guy gets traded, then the C goes somebody else. It usually doesn't go to one jersey to the next in the same
the
team.
last one was in Colorado. Milan Hajduk gave his C to Landeskog.
But he gave his C.
Didn't,
Hajduk gave, right?
Hajduk was still there.
Yeah.
Didn't they take Modano's C and gave it to Morrow?
I was pretty sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And I thought they did it with Bill Guerin too.
But
But
say, for example, maybe Modano didn't want to be captain.
maybe.
He
Maybe
went
he was
to
okay
Detroit
with
not
an
too
A.
long after that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So maybe it was kind of like he knew he probably